Just want to do a quick video shooting post-mortem of the past 3 weeks. You know, occasionally I like to bring out all my pistols and run them at distances I think that's applicable for me. So this first target here is 3 weeks ago, and I'll just zoom in a little bit or get closer to it. And this is a 10 round string at 15 yards, and I have the different firearms loaded here. This is my Beretta M9A4 Landon Tactical. Very nice trigger. That trigger surprises me a lot of the times when I shoot it. This is a 226. Recently picked that up. Had it in my safe, and the sights aren't as bright as they used to, so I have to leave it out. So shooting it pretty much looked like black irons. My Shield Plus, a very accurate little firearm, and that's 10 rounds at 15 yards. So I'll say if I'm looking at the 8 ring and in 90%, 90%, definitely not up there with that. 80% with my 229, but that's very accurate as well. So that's more meat in the firearm. And this is my Walter, and this is another 80% as well. If I transition over here, this is my 239 or 40 cal. This is at 10 yards, and this is a Glock 17 at 15 yards. So those are week 1. As I transition to week 2, felt a little bit more stable on a lot of these, and you know, these are what, same size circle or just a little bit bigger. This is my 229, again all in. My M9A4, I knew when I pulled these, and again that's the single action trigger. That trigger is very crisp and light, so I knew when I pulled those two. PDP, probably best striker fire trigger. And this is my Shadow Systems. It's a workhorse, but I really have to lock in when I'm shooting this. As you can see, it's more of a spread. You know, here's a tighter group, even in my 229, but those are the single actions. It's a very light single action trigger too. I had Sig do some trigger work on that, and this is my Shield Plus. And I'll take that for, you know, a less than what, 3 inches or less barrel. I came across here into the iron sights, and again, some of these are between 10 to 15 yards. So the Glock 19, 15 yards, 229, 15 yards, but this is the 40 cal because I had to change the barrels and slides. So this is the 40 cal, and the 239 is a 40 cal. And again, this is out at 10 yards, right? And this is my 226. This is out at 15 yards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this one wasn't it, but I incorrectly put it down there with a shield. This is the original shield, right? So again, these were 5 round strings, and this is my most recent. This is my cold start. First 5 rounds out of the firearm at 15 yards, and I was aiming at the A zone. And this is the rest of the target here, pretty much from here down, right? Because this is a different firearm and objective I was running here. So this is out. So pretty much from here down is the other 45 rounds running as fast as I could see my sights, between 5 to 15 yards. Step into the actual post-mortem part of the video. On week 1, I hadn't shot in a while before going to the range. So it was about getting reacclimated to the firearms. And I started off with the 229, which has a double single. So even though the double action pull is relatively smooth in that firearm, it's still a little bit longer. So there's a lot of opportunity for the sights to move. So really have to lock in on that. And then when it comes to the single action is drastically different from the double. So it's a lot shorter, a lot more crisp, and very light. So, you know, if it is you're not holding onto your weapon, you know, practicing proper fundamentals, you know, that shot is going to surprise you, and then, you know, you could probably possibly have a miss. So I stepped from my 229. I did think I went into my PDP next, and again, that trigger, even though it's a very nice striker fire trigger, it has a definite wall, right? And once you come to that wall to break that shot, it's not as light as a single action on the double singles, and it's also not as long as the double, right? So it's a different trigger altogether. So I had a little bit of readjusting there as well. And as I started shooting the different firearms, based upon the number of rounds, my body started settling down. Into week 2, I had a lot more confidence going into week 2, and some of those rounds, being so confident, especially with the M9A4, I pulled some of those because just the lapse, put my finger on the trigger, and that trigger I would say is probably like 3 to 2.5 pounds. Those rounds just kind of jumped out, right? Jumped out, yeah. So be that what it is, in terms of a defensive situation, you really have to pay attention when shooting that firearm. But on the range, aiming at the target, rest your finger on the trigger, and inadvertently, bam, that trigger is that light. Getting down into the PDP, a very, very tight grouping with the PDP. And the Shield Plus, it opened up just a little bit for me this time. And in week 2, I did also shoot the Shadow Systems. And the Shadow Systems is a little bit more inconsistent, but it still gets the job done, right? I had 4 out of 5. I really have to lock in and shoot in the Shadow Systems because the time one round might go on top, one round might come to the middle. So really, really have to lock in on that. And the trigger is a little bit more mushy if compared to the PDP or even the Shield Plus, right? So maybe I should think about changing out that trigger. And the irons, I have them. I just want to, pretty much keep up my skills with them. And those have night sights, and the night sights aren't as bright, so it comes like shooting, all blacked out irons. So it's more about keeping my skills up with those, because I don't necessarily carry them that much. And week 3, which is the last target behind me, let's see if you can guess which firearm that is. And again, this is a cold start, first 5 rounds. And at times I psych myself out, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping it inside, but I can't let this one go out. So all in all, I got the 5 in there, which is very, very good. I didn't doubt that. I didn't question myself or my ability in able to do so. But it was more so from the perspective of the first one is in, the second one is in, make sure the third one goes in, make sure the fourth one goes. So, a little bit of pressure, which is not bad for consistency's sake. And then the next 45 rounds, I shot strings of 5 rounds from the 5, 10, 15, and back in as fast as I could see my sights, really trying to hold it within that A zone of the target. And I had one spilled out into, I think it's the B zone back there. No, the C. One spilled out into the C. And I knew when that happened, it was out of the 15. So I shot, 5 out of the 15. It opened up a little bit, and then one came out. And then I shot another 5 out of the 15 just to, lock it in. And then I brought it in some. Yeah. All in all, good shooting. And so get out there and practice. Stay dangerous.